Hey there YouTube and the VC. This is going to be a response video to Guess I'm Just a Spudboy's. It's not a thread at all, but he uploaded a video showing a linear tracking Sony turntable that he picked up a couple weeks ago. So I thought, you know what, I wanted to show my turntable. It's a Technics SL-10, or one of my turntables I should say. It's the only linear tracking one I have, and I wanted to show it because even though his and this one are both linear tracking, there are some major differences in the way they look and the way they operate as well. Linear tracking, as Ottavio had said in his video, was kind of like a last-ditch effort for turntable manufacturers to try to get something a little more accurate for tracking, as the CD boom was starting. And so this turntable, the SL-10, is still quite sought after. I believe it was built in 1980, in around that area, and it had a lot of conveniences with it. And one of the main selling features was its size. For example, it was advertised as being no bigger than a record jacket, and absolutely, it's not. It's the same size, but 12 1/4 by 12 1/4. It's the same as a record jacket. So very compact was one of its selling features. Another one was that when these things were first manufactured, they came with a moving coil cartridge. I forget what the number was. Was it MC something? I forget, but a very sought after cartridge and very high end, especially for a P mount. You can no longer buy these cartridges anymore. They're long out of production. And I found this turntable actually at Value Village store, which is kind of a subsidiary of Savers in the United States. And I found it for 30 bucks, and when I brought it home, it didn't work. The platter would spin, but I couldn't get any movement out of the tone arm at all. I ended up taking it apart and found out that the motor that drives the tone arm, and I'll show you that in a second, I'll show you right now. If you flip the lid up, and this is one of the differences too between mine and Ottavio's, is that the tone arm in this one is actually in the lid. It's up in here. And what was wrong was there's a motor actually in here, and I had this thing all taken apart. I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm much more comfortable when it comes to repairing a regular pivotal style turntable. But when I took this apart, I found that the motor was seized. That was the only problem. And so just by turning the pulley on the top of the motor, I managed to loosen it, a little bit of lubrication. And this was 4 years ago, and since then there's been no issues with it whatsoever. It's just been running great. And this particular unit, I know I've seen it go on eBay for anywhere between $200 and $400. So pretty good deal, I thought, for 30 bucks. It's not my main turntable, but I do use it from time to time. It's kind of a nostalgic thing. It's I think a conversation piece, kind of like Ottavio was mentioning with his turntable. And some of the features of this, for one, it's heavy too. It's about 15 pounds, 14, 15 pounds. And the casing is made out of aluminum, so it's very rugged. Because it came with a moving coil cartridge, they actually had something on the back. Here's a couple plugs, or there's a switch actually, not a plug. There's a switch on the back, kind of hard to see, but it's right beside the RCA plugs here. And the switch in the in position is for moving coil, and in the out position is for moving magnet. So you have the option of using either type cartridge. And it would plug into your regular phono cartridge output or input on your receiver. So it's not really a moving magnet, or sorry, a moving coil phono stage. It's actually more of a booster to a moving coil signal if you were using that in this turntable. So having the option of using either a moving coil or a moving magnet cartridge in this, with actually having to buy a separate phono stage, was a great feature. And it did, when I found this in the store, it did have the original cartridge in it, and I managed over the course of, I forget when I actually did it, but it was by accident. I didn't even know I did it, but I ripped the stylus out of the moving coil, and those cartridges, you can't replace the styluses without replacing the entire cartridge unless you get it re-tipped somewhere. And I actually took the cantilever and the stylus right out, and I saw just one of those cartridges go on eBay for over $300, and I was just, oh my god, I can't believe I did that, because they are very sought after, the cartridges, the originals that came with these turntables. But anyway, what I have mounted in here now is a Digitrack cartridge, P-mount, and I bought it off a German seller. Right? He's quite popular. I can't remember his name right now though, and it really tracks the record well. It's got great sound, so I'm very happy with that. Octavio's turntable has the capability of using either P-mount or a regular cartridge, so he has a much better selection as far as like as the cartridges on the market as what he could install into this, where me, I have to stick basically with a P-mount. So that's one disadvantage with this turntable over his. Also, he has an electronic on his. He has an electronic stylus force button for you can set your stylus force just electronically on the face of the turntable. Mine is kind of factory set to 1 1/4 grams, because all P-mount cartridges are basically the same weight and they all track at 1 1/4 grams. But there is a way with a screwdriver, a small screwdriver. I really can't show you here, but if you need to adjust the tracking force, you can. But more or less, you really don't need to, because, like I said, all P-mounts are basically configured the same way. So, other differences too between his and mine. His plays, or will play, with the lid up. Mine, the lid has to be closed in order for it to play. Also, this one comes in with a built-in record clamp, so it's kind of pushes down on the record, holds it into place once the lid is closed. Feature-wise, if you want to clean the record before you play it, you can do that too. I use a picture disc just for demonstration. If you want to clean it before you play it, all you got to do, make sure the power is on, hold this button down, okay, and the platter will spin. So you take your brush. I don't have a static remover gun, but I use the brush anyway. Okay, so you brushed your record off. Now you want to play it. Close the lid, and you press start. I'll turn the volume up a little bit here so you can hear it. It's a picture disc, so it does have some snaps and pops. Not as good quality as a regular black disc, but just so you can see the record spinning in there, I decided to use a picture disc. So if you want to move the arm to another selection, the queuing button, and like Octavio's Sony, you have arrow buttons as well to move the arm across. So actually, there is no arrow buttons. You just use these buttons that are like the start button. You hit it on one, and the left side moves it this way, the right side moves it the other way. So you just go like that, and the arm is moving. And then you can drop it wherever you want. Okay, and also there's a repeat function on this as well. You can press the repeat button and play the disc over and over as many times as you want. Also built into this, it's a direct drive. It's quartz locked. You don't really need a strobe for this because it is quartz locked. There shouldn't be any speed deviation, but there is actually on the top, it's hard to see in here, but on the top of the the record clamp, there is a strobe, and there's a little red light in there that shines on the strobe, so you can actually see that the lines aren't moving and that speed is stable. So that was kind of cool to see as well. What else did I want to show you? Oh, one of the main differences between this one and Octavio's is this one here you can play on an angle, or you can play it standing up, and I'm going to demonstrate that too. I used to have this turntable just sitting flat on the top here, but I like the fact that if it's angled a bit, it kind of shows it off a little bit more. So I found these stands at a thrift store, and they were beige. I spray painted them black, and what they're for is they're amaray stands for old style computer printers. It was new in the box. I only paid $1 for them. Spray painted them, and they make great stands for this. If you back in the day when you could buy this brand new, there were stands available specifically made for this turntable, much smaller than this, which kind of angled it up as well. Very expensive if you can come across them, because they are quite rare right now. But I want to show you how this turntable plays on its end as well, because it does that. So I'm going to stop this for a second and stop the video and restart it, showing you how this works. Okay, I now have the turntable standing up on its end, and it has to do with the system. This is the balance system in the tone arm. I think it's a 4-point gimbal system, whatever the heck that is. Anyway, it doesn't matter what angle the player is at, you'll still get the exact pressure, 1 1/4 grams, on the record. So I'll show you how this works here. So let's press start. Up the volume a bit. There you go. So I guess I've pretty much covered all the points on this turntable. Doing this video has actually given me a chance to get it up and running again. I really haven't been using it very much, because I use my denim turntable for most of my record playing, but you know, as you can see, it is quite the conversation piece, and you know, I'll be hanging on to it. Octavio, you should hang on to yours too. I think yours is really cool. What I like most about Octavio's turntable, compared to this one, if you've seen this video, is that there's a couple things. One thing is you can play the record while the lid is up. And I like that because you can actually see the workings a little bit more. You can see the tone arm. Here you have to view everything through the plexiglass to see what's going on. Also, I like the fact that his has the capability of using standard mount cartridges rather than P-mount, because P-mount selection, the P-mount selection of cartridges is very narrow compared to the standard cartridges that are found in most turntables. So you know, if I want to find something that's a little more high-end, a little more expensive, the selection is much more narrow, and it's harder to find something that's really good that's a P-mount cartridge. Also, I really like his the electronic stylus adjustment that his has on his. Mine, like I said, it's fixed. It's set at 1 1/4 grams. I can adjust it with a screwdriver if needed, but it's not something that's really necessary. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and it's kind of get me in the mood of doing some more gear videos, which I might do a little bit later on, some of the other turntables I have. But that's the Technics SL-10. I hope you enjoyed it.